More medications, less health. Something's broken. Traditional medicine manages symptoms, but true healing addresses root cause. I'm Josh Rimini, pharmacist turned healer. At Beyond the Pills, we merge ancient wisdom with modern day science to inspire you through stories of transformation, practical trainings, and holistic healing. Join me and other practitioners as we guide you towards vibrant health, body, mind, and spirit, and move beyond symptom management into true healing. Welcome back to Beyond the Pills. I'm Josh Rimini, pharmacist turned healer. And today we're going to talk about gut health. It's one of the favorite places, the beginning and end of functional medicine. When they trained me many years ago, they say, when in doubt, treat the gut. So today's guest is Dane Johnson. He's the founder of Crohn's Colitis Lifestyle, a global health platform inspired by his own life-threatening battle with Crohn's and colitis. After being told his condition was incurable and facing a future of medications and surgeries, Dane chose a different path, one rooted in natural healing, self-education, and deep personal responsibility. Through years of experimentation, lifestyle change, and inner work, Dane has reclaimed his health and eliminated his symptoms without surgery or long-term medications. Today, he's one of the most recognized Crohn's and colitis coaches in the world, having helped thousands of people discover their own unique path to healing from inflammatory bowel disease. Beyond protocols, Dane's work focuses on empowerment, mindset, and the belief that true healing comes from within. That was why we connected for sure. Supported by a global community of coaches, practitioners, doctors, healers, and dedicated to restoring hope and vitality. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Wow, Josh, thank you for that intro. And I'm so excited to be here. I want to start with an affirmation that I'm here to get results. I want to help. I want to use every minute to help give people that protocol, that root issue, that why on how we're going to be able to heal. We're not meant to be sick. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Man, that was about as charged up as any introduction back to me that I've ever had. I
Let's
love this.
go.
You are a
Let's
guy that
go.
wants to actually do things in the world.
I'm in the boot. Yeah.
You're charged up. So
I'm boots on the
seriously,
ground, Josh. I'm not talking to you like from an ivory tower that a lot of our practitioners are. And they're brilliant. There's people a lot smarter than me, but I'm in the boat. I almost died of this disease and there's nothing I could do. There's nothing my family I could do. I went to Mayo Clinic, Cedars-Sinai, everywhere. No one could tell me what was going on. I was fine. And then 19 years old, blood in the stool, 27 years old. I'm fighting for my life. Whole family flies into the hospital because the doctors tell my family I might die. I mean, long story, but so that's why I'm here, Josh. Yeah. And we're going to have fun.
and
We're
what-
going to have fun telling it.
we instantly connected prior to this, recording because your story, your life story, your healing journey brought you to where you are and compelled, literally called you to help other people like me, like my cancer
Mhm.
story, my journey towards the allopathic failing me into this way of healing and going into this space. So
Mhm.
let's open out that story a little bit, if you don't mind, like telling people a little bit about where, because I think the truth comes from experience. And so
Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
people to understand a little bit about where you came from and the journey, because there's a lot of people on this journey.
There is. And that's why I have the courage to be here. Is because my case was one of the worst you could have. It nearly killed me because I failed for years before I ever got any success. And I tried famous diets. I did fasting or bone broth or carnivore or low FODMAP or a specific carbohydrate diet or paleo diet. And I made my own homemade yogurts and spent thousands of dollars on supplements and listened to Dr. Google and eventually stood on my head and clapped my toes and still didn't get better. And so it's one of those things that, it's pain to purpose. It's pain to purpose. And the story is it's just what a lot of us needed. And one of the biggest things that I was missing, Josh, I know a lot of people are right now are missing is the relatability. When I went to go
Yes.
see brilliant doctors who were smarter than me, they'd never had IBD. They'd never beat IBD. They couldn't show me testimonies of beating IBD, and they couldn't show me any kind of real clinical results beyond what a book said that told them. There's a difference between lived experience and actually trying to stop the blood and get your colonoscopy normal, or go from 25 bloody bowel movements a day down to 1 to 2 normal, and reading about it. Huge difference. And you really have to connect with the spiritual side of it, the mental side of it, what the day-to-day looks like. And that's what, I was called on to do. I didn't ask for this. It was the worst thing that ever happened to me. But I ask everyone now out there, can we make it the best? Can we make it the best? And so that's what my story really is. It's like, it was Phoenix out of the ashes. I was diagnosed with something I'd never heard of, never ran in my family. I was first diagnosed with left-sided ulcerative colitis. And I was so shameful to even say, what? I got a poop problem? I've got a colon disease for the rest of my life? I can't tell my girlfriend that. I can't tell it. What? Ulcerative what? So it was this thing. I was a farm boy from Virginia. I'm diagnosed with left-sided ulcerative colitis, mind you, a year and a half after I started my Invisalign. A few things I look back. I was wearing Invisalign for a year and a half, right before I got diagnosed. I started learning about microplastics in connection with IBD and microbiome. I also was a big into weightlifting and eating crappy food and going to GNC. You know that protein place, GNC, General Narcotics Center? They give you all that crap whey protein. I was sucking that down 4 times a day, trying to be a big, strong young lad in Virginia, right? Playing sports. And when I got diagnosed, there's blood in the stool, cramping, urgency. I didn't know what this is. And then all of a sudden I go a year later, they're giving me mesalamine, they're giving me, steroid, prednisone. Then all of a sudden I'm going to another doctor and he goes, no, this is actually Crohn's disease. This isn't ulcerative colitis. And that was at UCLA. I'm like, oh, well, this is UCLA. I got Crohn's disease. That sounds better than ulcerative colitis. I got Crohn's disease. I go to another doctor. No, you've got ulcerative colitis with gastritis. And every time the doctors are giving me a little bit different type of diagnosis, I started realizing, wait, a diagnosis is subjective.
It's an opinion.
It's an opinion.
I don't call them diagnosis. So this is fun. This has happened to me.
Okay. Take it away, Josh.
I want to keep going.
Take it away.
Diagnosis is an opinion. Because what happens when you don't like the diagnosis, you get a what?
You don't like a second opinion. Yeah.
Like an opinion. You call it opinion when you don't like it, but you call it a diagnosis when you want to label it. So you've been diagnosed out of there, right? So continue.
I was going to say panic attack. You get a panic attack? I don't know. These doctors labeling us, stamping us on our forehead.
But which makes you feel like I'm a criminal, right? I have a thing. It came to me. Ulcerative colitis just found me.
It just latched on. Yeah. It just latched on. And then I go to the doctor. I say, well, and this is just a little pun on what you just said. I go, doc, eventually as I started getting my mind back and getting away from the trauma, because when you're diagnosed, you go through, it's almost like a divorce of I'm okay. I'm young in life. I have time. This is my moment. I mean, I was 20 years old. I was 22 years old. This was my time. And my 20s were being stolen by this shameful, incurable disease. I was going to the bathroom 25 times a day. It started at 3 to 4, light bleeding. And what happens with a lot of diseases is it progressed. Yeah. Because the medications were masking it.
Yep.
They were masking the problem and no one was telling me about the problem. And I'm going to get to that in a second. So I go to UCLA, they say Crohn's. Then I go to Mayo Clinic. They say ulcerative colitis with gastritis. Then I go back to UCLA because I was living in California. And they go, no, I'm certain it's Crohn's disease. And the guy had a team of doctors following him around with a pen and paper. So I'm going, okay, I don't know what it is. I have Crohn's, I have ulcerative colitis, I have chronic inflammation in the bowel. And I go, doctor, what is IBD? They say, well, it's chronic incurable inflammation in the bowel. And I go, well, what is that? And they go, well, it's a disease. And I said, well, okay, well, what is it? Besides it's just chronic inflammation. And eventually you can get them to say, we don't know. I go, okay. IBD equals IDK. Now I get it. What if a doctor came up to you, and this also would have saved me from the trauma. I want to give someone a lesson in my story real quick. What if a doctor walked up and said, listen, you've got chronic inflammation in the bowel. We don't know what causes it, but we got steroids, antibiotics, and immunosuppressants. You want any? What would happen? What would happen to your trauma?
They might make you feel better. This is what we got. This is all we got. Yeah.
And so it's just the shame and trauma and what happens. And we know that stress makes autoimmune worse. We know stress makes cancer worse. We know stress makes every disease worse. The stress of the diagnosis was another battle in itself because I'm now labeled and I can't explain it because no one's taught me. So the only way I can explain myself to others is tell people I'm a chronically sick person. Well, what happened? I got diagnosed with IBD. That's a trauma in itself. That's why so many of us are doing EMDR, EFT, clinical hypnosis. to try to take back our power from this massive trauma that's been pushed onto us as an identity. Like some of us have like my Crohn's Fit journey on Instagram. It's like your handle. It's like your identity now.
Yeah.
And so that's a scary thing. But, I digress in that. And so I just went through severe pain, Josh. It wasn't easy. I didn't get results quickly. Diets didn't work for me. I read the books and I said, this is nuts. No one can do this. Like I read specific carbohydrate or carnivores. Like who can live like this for the rest of their life? I grew up on Papa John's. I worked at Papa John's Pizza for 4 years in high school. That's what I ate 3 times a week. I grew up in Virginia. There was no gluten-free this, that, and the other. There was no organic. It was food and macros. And if you're fat, run it off. That's how I grew up. It's like all we do back in the 90s and the 80s. It was like, it wasn't any of this. So I had to go through something my mom and dad hadn't been through. My sisters hadn't been through. No one in my family or extended family had been through. My doctors hadn't been through. And I had no support. There was not a podcast like this out here. So I was alone and isolated and no one could really relate with me. And then, like a lot of our family does, my mom was running around spending all her money trying to buy the books, listen to podcasts, get me to drink coconut milk instead of the milk because online it says it's the milk. Then I'm getting this gluten-free bread that tastes like cardboard because online it's the gluten. And then, I'm going on these liquid shakes for 3 weeks straight. And the only thing I'm losing is my weight, and so it's just getting worse and worse. So that was happening for like 3 or 4 years, Josh. And I was on prednisone, taper off, on prednisone, taper off. And as it didn't work, the doctor goes, yeah, we need to use something stronger. Let's go to immunomodulators like 6-MP, okay, azathioprine, methotrexate. I was on all of them. So as a young man who didn't know better, I said, Doc, give me whatever you got to give me. I got want my life back. I'm 23 years old.
Me. Do
Yeah.
you fix? Yeah. This is the
That's
story.
how
This is the story.
Josh, that's how society conditioned me. That's
Yeah.
how the school system conditioned me. You're not the answer. You need to pay for the answer. You need to get around the answer. And no one ever taught me to stand up and be the answer. Never. And I only got there through pain, just pure pain and time. Because I would sit there and just wait for it to work. I did the same thing with natural medicine. So someone around me who loved me would try to go figure out a solution while I was depressed and angry and upset at the world. And then they'd say, okay, you're going to go on these steroids. You're going to go on 6-MP, methotrexate, Entyvio, Remicade, whatever. Oh, and then we're going to try it. And then a doctor's going to go build you a diet and say, okay, only eat bone broth with chicken and pureed carrots for 3 weeks. And we're going to do a reset. So I'm sitting there binging Netflix, waiting for this reset to kick in. And it just got worse and worse. And a lot of us are doing that. We're just trying to follow a simple plan. And it's not going to work until you become the CEO of your health. So for 4 years, I failed to really stand up, get off my knees and get out of victim mode and stand up and become the CEO. Not to say I'm the answer, but on my board, that's where I started saying, I want that doctor. I want that naturopath. I want that mental health coach. I'm going to be reading those books. This is my priority. This is where I spend my time. So for 4 years, I went through all the drugs, all the medications, and then even when I tried natural medicine, Josh, it didn't work. That was such a tough case. And I'll tell you about the root issues in a little bit that I found that I think everyone needs to write down and be aware of. But as I kept going through, by December 2014, I had gotten so severe that I had to go to a hospital and I was stuck in a hospital for a month. I was admitted to the hospital for 1 month, about a little bit more than that. And it was during my birthday, turning 27 years old. It was right before Christmas. And I dropped from 190 pounds to 122 pounds. I lost the ability to walk for such muscle atrophy. I would have 25 bloody moments a day, like I'm pooping glass. My mom or my dad or my sister who took turns sleeping in the hospital with me, mostly my sister and my mom, would just take this stainless steel bedpan, put it under my bed because I couldn't walk to the bathroom. And I would just release a little bloody water and in pain, kind of shout out in pain. And then they would just go dump it. And we do that about 20 times a day. And then I had an IV in me with, at any moment, I'd hit the button and I'd get 3 grams of Dilaudid daily. You guys don't know what Dilaudid is? It's 7 times stronger than morphine. It's what you give to a person who's dying of a disease. And so I'm on cloud 9 with legal heroin, basically, but I'm still in pain. I'm hallucinating. I can't remember anything. I wasn't conscious for probably about 2 weeks at that time. I was on 4 different antibiotics, 200 milligrams of infused prednisone, biologics. I was on the Dilaudid. Then I was on a TPN feeding tube because I lost the ability to eat. And this is all happening like that. It's like years of pain. And then after all the work and spending about $50,000 on natural medicine and flying around the world and seeing different specialists, then I almost died. So what I'm telling you is after all that. So this was not something quick. And that's why I'm here. And that's why I have the courage, because this is real. This is what I've been through, and it's pain to purpose. And I just want to lead it forward, because what happened to me wasn't fair. Things weren't, my doctors were brilliant, way smarter than me in a lot of ways, but I didn't understand what they could do and what they could not do. And I didn't learn how to step up and be what my body needed to have the life I was always meant to have and claim it. And so that's why I'm here. But in that, what happened? Well, one doctor from Florida, my mom was calling every doctor, figuring out why I was dying, because they were literally saying he might not live through the night, straight up. I don't remember it. I was unconscious. This is the story my mom says, right? And she goes, and then there's a doctor in Florida who said, I think it's cytomegalovirus that's taken over his body, because the steroids, the antibiotics, they've weakened his immune system. And he's been sick for so long without the root issue being dealt with, because your body gets weaker the longer this disease persists. Your body gets burnt out, and it had taken over my body. And that's why the antibiotics were working, all that. So that doctor gets on with my insurance and says, you need to give him an antiviral chemotherapy or this boy's going to die. They said, his insurance doesn't cover that. I had crap insurance. I was a kid. And then they go, if you don't give it to him, he's going to die. Give him the sample and test it. They gave me a 3-day sample of this chemo, and I woke up. I became conscious. I could start talking again. And then my blood work started getting better. So then they put me on that. And so I had it intravenous. If you see a picture of me online, you'll see me holding a little thing with a black bag, and I'm in my underwear looking like a little dummy with a big beard and long hair. Yeah, that's that moment. And so that saved my life. It was the doctors who saved my life. So let's give them credit, right? They are the best at urgent care physicians. You get a car accident, you get shot, or you are fighting for your life in that moment, bleeding out, man, there's no one better than them. So they helped save my life in that moment. But once I woke up and became aware, I realized there was no more they could do for me. That Entyvio wasn't the answer. Remicade wasn't the answer. Another round of 60 milligrams of prednisone wasn't the answer. That mesalamine 5-ASA stomach coater wasn't going to do it. So I checked myself out of the hospital against their will. When I woke up, I stayed on that. They covered that chemo into a pill form, because I was no longer intravenous at the hospital, for another month. I was bedridden for 3 months once I left, from December into early 2015. And then I was housebound for another 7, 8 months after that, about a year in total, the whole transition. And so it took me 3 months to be able to get out of bed where no one had to live with me, and I could kind of start take care of myself. And then it took me another 2 months before I could walk, let's say, quarter mile, half a mile. And then from there, I was able to start biking to the grocery store and, cooking my meals and all of that stuff. And so through that, I basically was not only in school for natural medicine, working with my naturopath professors, and this is, still 4 years. I've been trying beforehand. I've been spent a lot of money, seeing a lot of different people try, but now I'm housebound and I am dedicated, Josh. I am 40 hours a week learning, studying, journaling, meditating, implementing. I am patient zero right here. Like, it's one cool, ironic thing about when this happens, when you start going to school and training on this, and you just try to do all that on yourself, you're not just thinking about it, like learning about fasting, trying fasting, learning about going into ketosis, trying ketosis, learning about doing coffee enemas or probiotic retention enemas or castor oil packs or meditations, breath works to engage your parasympathetic. You're doing it. So I couldn't leave the house. So people said, you must go crazy in there. I'm like, no, I got a full-time job. So that, I could tell you all about that journey, but there I had massive epiphanies on how healing actually works. I started to realize what variables actually got me results and what mattered and why. And I had to learn that on a limited budget. So I had to learn to be resourceful because I had limited resources. And I learned how important the nervous system was, what you think, what your cells are experiencing, your relationship to the earth, the sun, the ground, your sleep, the importance of that, how to take control over your feelings. Like, I'm addicted to gluten. I'm used to drinking alcohol. This is how I was social. I'd go party and drink and go out to concerts and smoke weed. And like, I had to divorce the Western world of thinking and rebuild the idea of happiness, health, and my relationship with society in that year. And I tried it before, but I kept failing. One of the reasons I realized I was failing the years prior is I was trying to hack my health. Let me keep in society and just go gluten-free, or let me keep in this and just do a 3-week cleanse. Let me keep doing these principles, but just try to go buy that expensive BPC 157, or go buy that, Indigo Naturalis, or go buy that probiotic. And then I'll just be able to keep this lifestyle and just have the hack. And so I call that MPS. Most of us are actually suffering from the only disease I will diagnose. It's called MPS, Magic Protocol Syndrome. Okay.
Yeah.
So to keep it light, keep it a little funny, right? I'm like, I'll meet clients. I'm like, you got a little MPS going on right now. Right. And so what you have to do is I had to divorce that and I had to rebuild that relationship, because to cure a disease is not to eradicate it. To cure a disease is the ability to respond to it in real time so you are not powerless. Can you eradicate a bad day? Can you eradicate a headache? Can you eradicate getting the flu? You can't cure a thing in this world. That actually doesn't make sense. The word cure has no power in this world, in my
Yeah.
opinion. It's what can you cure? Name one thing. Cure cancer? You say, so no cancer will ever come back in your body. Can you cure a bad day, a headache? Can you cure eczema? Can you cure, what about gingivitis? If you stop brushing your teeth, that gingivitis is going to come out of remission and flare. Same terminology. So we're living in this terminology that's traumatizing. So all of our gingivitis is all in remission. It's all in remission. We all have the chronic disease called gingivitis. And it's in remission because we brush and floss and use some highly antibiotic, crappy mouthwash that destroys our microbiome.
We don't need to do that. We need more than that.
I just had to throw that in there just to keep it light. But so I know I'm going on a little tangent, but that was my story, and those were some of the things I learned, and how I went to pain to purpose. But after that year, I went to the doctor, and I refused my Entyvio, and I got myself off the methotrexate. In that year, I took myself off, and I don't do what I did. There's better ways nowadays. Prednisone, methotrexate, Entyvio, painkillers, antibiotics, and Ambient. So I got myself off all that, and I went in, and my doctor was like, really forced me on Entyvio. Like, she scared the bejesus out of me, and I refused it. I thought she was going to kill me or throw me out of her office when I saw her. She goes, Dane, I was going to be really upset at you until I looked at your lab work. It's normal. No, you're not anemic. White blood cell count's normal. Your CRP is normal. It'd been terrible for years. And I was like, what? Oh, and she goes, let's do the colonoscopy, and let's see. Colonoscopy results come back. 90% healed. Josh, I hadn't been on a medication. I hadn't gotten my infusion in almost 3 months. I had been off prednisone for 8 months. I hadn't taken methotrexate in 5-6 months. I started crying. I was so excited, but then the doctor dropped something big on me. She goes, okay, Dan, because I started saying, every one of us hope our doctor will go, what have you been doing? Then go get a pen and paper, because they want to teach their other clients what you did. And then it's like, you think that's going to happen. She's just going, okay, just keep doing what you're doing. If you need me, come back and see me.
That's exactly what it is, Bryce. The people we serve is like, you go to the doctor and it's like, I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it. It's like, they don't want to know.
They don't have time to know.
I know.
Let's give it. They don't have time. The church pays them 5 minutes to see us.
Yeah, but
like, it's a bad system. They're employees. Doctors are not, they're employees of a bad system.
Well, we've had plenty of practitioners, on this podcast. We are making light of it, but like, your story is genuine, and
yes,
interestingly, or synchronistically, like, what you described is very much like my journey through cancer.
Yeah.
Like, the whole misdiagnosis, putting me on all these things. I was 5'10", 109 pounds, 91 days in the hospital. All they kept doing was giving me stuff until they could figure it out. And like, I still remember, like, I couldn't walk from the car to my, like, all the story is just so uncanny.
It's
like,
so similar.
We got to go off
We're
topic some other time to talk about how the synchronicities of our journey, because that journey has obviously gotten you to the calling that you have. Like, none of what, like, this is how I look at it, right? And you as well, I believe, is like, all of that was for a purpose for you to be here today.
I agree. And that's just why, for me, that's when I started getting that stronger relationship and just spiritual belief and adding prayer into my life. Cause it was like, when Josh, like, when you're just that gone, and it's just like, man, you got to give it up somewhere. You just got to it's like the weirdest thing. You got to let go of the
That's
victimhood
where the
and the
surrender
pain.
comes from.
Yeah, you got to surrender, but at the same time, you've got to hold on harder and stronger, be more accountable than you've ever been before. What you do, what you eat, what you think, what you allow into your brain is like a bull on the horns. But the experience of this has happened to you and it's not your fault, you got to surrender that. You got to learn to dance in the rain. That's what I tell people. You've got to learn to do salsa dancing while it's storming outside. It is, you got to get happy or you'll never get healthy. You can't live through the journey. It's too hard. If you are living in victimhood while you're in pain, it's just going to get worse. You've got to say, I forgive, I forget, I'm going to find a reason to smile, even though I can barely walk. I used to laugh about it, John. I had a cane. My best friend for a little while was like an old lady at the grocery store who couldn't walk much herself. We would just kind of sit and chat every once in a while.
Oh, I didn't have hair at 16 and I had an earring because I was stupid. And my friends called me Mr. Clean in high school because of all I was going through chemo and I was bald as a Q and they didn't.
Well, I'm glad we
They
could
gave
laugh
me
about it,
shit
even though
for
it's
a
a
reason though. No,
Yeah, yeah.
but that's
Because that's real. I don't mean to laugh at that.
no.
Yeah.
It's genuine because my friends didn't treat me like a sick kid. They treated me just like they would treat everyone else, and that's the medicine I needed. The same thing you said.
Yeah.
The medicine isn't the medication. It isn't the thing. It's that belief system. It's the thing. Like it's getting up more than you're getting knocked down every single time.
Yep.
Smiling in the face of bullshit chaos.
Yes.
That's what heals. We're talking healing. That's why you're on this podcast. That's why we're having conversations in this world. I'm not in the business of symptom resolution
Yes.
or masking. Like what you described, I want to make sure people understand it wasn't the stuff you did, your belief system, the drive you had to empower yourself. This is how people, whether it's Crohn's or colitis, cancer, anything, it's moving towards that healing modalities is we heal ourselves. We give ourselves, like, stress is a big deal. We can't just put it like, oh yeah, we know. That's what happens. We say, yeah, okay. No, it literally is.
Yeah.
Like these pieces matter the most. And I love your story because what I've learned it from this way is when you're pain to purpose, right? When it's the hardest, it matters the most.
It shapes who you are for the rest of your life. Like it changes your soul. And I want everyone listening right now to take something away from what we just said. Both of us found a way to laugh and smile in the pain. He said they called him Mr. Clean, and he said it was medicine. It's what he needed to feel normal. He could laugh at himself. I would trip. I couldn't walk. I couldn't put my hand up in the air. My legs didn't work. And I found a way to laugh at it. Like, just to me, it's still hilarious. Like, I remember the first time I went back to the gym and I couldn't lift a weight. So I was there and there was a trainer working with like a 70, 80-year-old woman. And she got up from like a back row machine and I sat down right behind her, same weight. I was like, nope, can't do it. Had to go lighter than grandma until I couldn't stop laughing that day. I found a way I got happy. I got happy because this is perspective. 3 things you've got to work on. Like one thing I teach people is this idea of imagination. Imagination, you have to work on the idea of perspective, okay, creation, and intuition.
Yeah.
So my perspective changed. Like I found a reason to smile. Here's the perspective. I'm so happy I have this and not my family. I'm so happy that my family's still alive and I can still call them right now because I'd rather be sick and have my family than be healthy alone. I'm so happy and grateful that I still have my eyes. There are people who are blind. There's nothing they can do. I'm so happy I have my leg, I have my feet. I've got my spirit. I got this breath. Woo! It's so great to be alive, baby. Let's go. I got there. Are you there? Are you there with me? If you're not, you got some spiritual growing to do. Look at that sun right now. Look at that. Look at that cloud. Look at that mountain. Look at that grass. That's there. That's there. You are here. Man, there are a lot worse things. So you got to work on that perspective. And then you've got to use your intuition. What do I eat, Dane? You don't know because you don't have any confidence because you haven't tried and worked out the variables. You know, the number one thing I did when I started healing, I journaled because I didn't know if it was the carnivore group or the vegan group, or I'm sure the thing with the cancer. It's like, do I need to be doing celery juices for the rest of life? Do I need to do a 30-day water fast? I started journaling on everything I ate. You want something you want to do today? If you are ready to heal, I want you to only eat what you cook or what's prepared for you for 30 days straight and watch your life change dramatically. It's not about getting in a camp. It's about getting self-empowered. Take the camps, cherry pick, and you become the answer. I dub you the CEO. It is not your fault, but it is your responsibility. Like Superman, responsibility to heal. Get your board, get your team, and you run and you get happy. You dance in the rain and you let go that it's not your fault. No, you did nothing to deserve this. That is 100% true, but it is for darn sure your responsibility. Until I got that, and for Josh, for me, I don't really feel like I turned into a man until I got sick. I like to tell people straight up, I know 40-year-old boys, I know 18-year-old men. I've worked with 15-year-old kids who got this, who are on it, who are disciplined, off the alcohol, off the glyphosate, off the gluten, not playing around, stop the snacking, on bed at time. I'm like, you got more skills than some of these people out here who've been on the earth, had 30 more rotations than you.
Well, it's the inner stories, right? It's the things that we always our self-limiting beliefs, if you want to just call it that. But it doesn't. Yes, the way I love the way you're saying is there is a space where it's like just take out the fluff and go. Like
Go.
you're really because and what you said about just get out. There's like the material doesn't matter. It's what really matters, right? Your
Yeah.
health really matters, not because it's your health, it's because what can you do from it?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like it's not like dunking a basketball on 10 foot. That's physically impossible for most of us. This is about saying, I am no longer going to put that in my mouth. I am going to go to bed. I'm no longer going to keep that TV on at 1 a.m. I'm no longer going to allow this energy of stress and anxiety and worry to infiltrate my spirit. And I'm going to fill my spirit with love, gratitude, hope, possibilities. Man, that word's my favorite. Possibilities. Well, I started when I was stuck in my house, and healing. We're talking about real healing, not just like what's the clinical research on the peptide and this curcumin. That's all good. And that you need that. But you got to build the foundation of what it is to be successful. We're talking about because until this foundational is there, even if you get results, they're going to fall away in the future because there is no perfect pill and there is no perfect protocol. And you have to have the love and the passion, the desire. And that's the foundation. And then you can put the garden around it, learning about all these protocols and strategies and ideas. And that's what I did. But because I had the foundation, I could keep it up for a year, 10 years. It's been 11 years since I almost died, Josh. I'm still here. I'm still passionate. I'm still fiery. Healing's still my number one priority. Health is my number one. So it's like you change. It's like a marriage. It's like you have to divorce the lies in this life and marry the truth, which is you are a divine, powerful human being connected to this earth. You need real food, real community, real good energy, and you need to take back that imagination, that creation, that perspective, that intuition. Intuition is sharpened through iron. Iron sharpens iron. You got to do to get intuitive. So, and that's where that really changed my life. So if I gave you like 5 things that'll start changing your life, I'd love to give people like 5 things they can do. That's not about the perfect idea, but it's the foundations of success. And then I like to tell people the 5 or 6 root causes I found that made me so chronically sick and what I did about them. So the 5 things, like number 1, you should be journaling 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the night. If you can't tell me what your symptoms were 14 days ago and what variables you were doing at that time, you have no power. You have no power to know, to be able, because you can't tell me if your symptoms are 30% better, 50% better, or 20% better. Until you understand your variables, you can't see it like a stock. You need to be able to see your life and health as stock, especially if you've had dramatic symptoms like me, 20 bloody bowel movements a day, mucus, urgency, blood, 60 pounds underweight, cramping. The second thing is, as I said, try to eat what you only cook. If you don't know what the best diet is for you yet, just go there because you can control that and it reduces variables. Did it have gluten? Did it have seed oils? What did it have? Was it high in oxalates? You can do all that. And guess what? Before 100 years ago, every human on the planet only ate what they cooked because there were no packaged foods 100 years ago. So for thousands of years, your great ancestors have all been doing this. You're just awakening what humans been doing for thousands of years. So the discomfort of it is a lie in the society that you were born in. So you have to realize that the discomfort's normal, but the truth is there. So know the truth and go through the discomfort because growth is always uncomfortable. You will never get success in life, whether your business, marriage, or healing, if it's not uncomfortable? The answer is always uncomfortable.
You get comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Yeah, you get comfortable saying, I know this is right. It feels uncomfortable. I want sugar. I want alcohol. I want to smoke something. I want, and I was shaken, Josh. Like when I first started doing this, I would go to the store at 2 in the morning because I couldn't sleep. I get like combos and chocolate donuts and I chew them up and spit them out in the trash can. I mean, I was a fiend. And so this
Well,
was really hard.
because that subconscious in there is super strong, and it's overcoming the stallion, right? It's
Yeah.
work everyone. It's going back to, it's just like when people say I can't meditate. I was like, no, everyone can meditate. Just notice when you get off center and go back to center. That's actually a win. When you notice, you come back.
Yes. That's what winners do. It's not perfection, it's consistency. Write this down. Consistency will always matter more than perfection. If your plan is too overwhelming, calm it down, throw it to 75% of that plan and get consistent, then try more. You can't add until it feels simple. You got to get
Favorite
consistent.
word in wellness. Simple. Wellness is made simple.
How easy does LeBron James make it look, right? Simple is successful. Simple is successful. Add on once it's simple. And so those are things like, and another thing, you got to get happy to get healthy. So these are not about, oh, I found this perfect supplement in this. Now I can do a whole hour on supplements. I can do another hour on herbs, peptides, biohacking, root cause. So all of that gets there, but that was the foundation. And so when I was stuck in my house, I didn't have a job. I didn't have cash flow. I was using savings to try to pay my rent. So I didn't have to work on disability back in mom's house, back in Virginia. I wanted my life in Santa Monica. I wanted to be on that beach. And so when you're low on resources, get resourceful. It is free to journal. It is free to read books. Like Tony Robbins' book, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Breaking the Habit of Being Myself, Jordan Rubin, The Maker's Diet, Patient Heal Thyself. I started reading, Josh, like 4 hours a day because it was just lighting me up with dopamine, lighting me up with possibilities. So when someone called me, it was like, did you know this? Did you know that I can't afford these probiotics? I can make fermented foods for nothing. Did you know
hard
that
to make sack beef?
I can get, all the herbs I can put in a tea? Burdock root, slippery elm. You know lemon juice is a natural electrolyte and helps clean the liver? Do you know apple cider vinegar enhances your natural digestion? I had so much undigested food in my stool. It was like, wait a minute. I've got low stomach acid. No wonder I can't break down this food. No wonder I'm so sensitive because I've got undigested vegetable fibers and meat fibers getting into my colon. Duh. Why didn't I think of that 4 years ago? Because I was traumatized with something I'd never asked to do. I never asked to be to understand health and wellness. I just listened to the doctors and took medication. So there was these dumb moments. I'll go to the root cause. So all of a sudden, I'm getting the natural medicine heavy, hard. I am pushing. I found candidiasis. Wait, what? Wait. What is candidiasis? Candida overgrowth. Candida is naturally occurring in your large intestine. But when you have microbiome imbalances from years of antibiotics, and you have poor biofunction, all this stuff, Candida will start to grow from your colon into your small intestine, causing SIFO, small intestine fungal overgrowth. Makes you stink, gives you cystic acne. I was covered in acne. Wait, why didn't my doctor at Mayo Clinic mention ever in the 500 meetings I had with them anything about Candida? And there's no one's arguing if Candida is the ghost. It's not a conspiracy theory. Candida overgrowth is a known clinical problem.
Yeah.
Low stomach acid. If you have IBD or IBS, I can almost bet you have poor pancreatic function. You have a stagnant liver with no stagnant oxbile or bile production. You probably could consider taking oxbile. And you've got, low stomach acid, liver, pancreatics. You can't break down food. You can't. That's why you can't handle a salad. Salad's gluten-free. No glyphosate, no seed oil, no, nothing. No dairy. You can't handle it because you can't break down the fibers. You can't break down the raw roughage because your digestion sucks. That's not a conspiracy root cause. That is biochemistry.
Yeah, well, and that's what, as a pharmacist turned functional, in the healing space, is like, I don't we can talk about, we don't have to talk about, but that just threw me into this phase of how many patients I've worked through that were chronically low acid because the PPI was there for thousands of years. We're going to give it to you symptomatically, but everybody had the reflux, so nobody could do anything. And it's well, now you're not absorbing anything and your protein is and then, and then it's like you said, it was it's one of the hardest drugs to get off because
man.
because of the crimping of the hose, and then moving.
Yep.
It's like the protocols can take 26 freaking weeks, which is why it's a beautiful pharma drug. You get on it, and the symptoms of coming off it are worse than when you got on it. So you're
Yep.
never going to get off it. And you just describe why it's so important to have the stomach acid in our actual systems. We need to digest food. It's a need to have, guys, not a nice to have.
And then I started pulling out my hair with almost anger. And this is when I went through my angry stage with my doctors. Because me, little old me, a few years of reading some books and doing some trainings and going to school for natural medicine, I was like, why aren't we talking that? I understand conspiracy theories. Like a doctor say, look, come on, there is no parasite. You're not testing positive for blastocystis hominis or cyclospora. Like, and okay, I get that there's like, I can go, okay, maybe there is, maybe there isn't, 'cause they're hard to find. Now I know there is, but back then, they're like, this was obvious, doctor. Like, I am a little angry. And now I forgive and forget. And you realize this. It's not, the doctors are brilliant. They're smarter than me in so many ways. It's not what they do. That was the answer.
They're trained to
Ooh.
look for sickness and manage it, where we're talking that I know what you said. Like, there's a difference between curing and healing,
Yes.
and disease management is the system we're in. We're moving. This is why it's called beyond the pills. We're not discounting that. If I get hit by a truck, I'm going to the ER. It's really good for me to go there.
Yes.
I don't go to the shaman to go heal because I got hit by the truck. Well, but I do go to the shaman once I'm healed from the truck to figure out why I got hit by the truck. I just that's my shaman.
That's great.
But what we're talking about is not removing anything. Like, the stuff is not removing. We're restoring balance. We're letting the body
Yes.
do what it's supposed to do.
I couldn't have said it better. And then people come to me and go, well done, you saved my life. I'm like, I actually just helped your body do what it does best. Your body's the divine thing. Like, I can't make your body start creating better, stomach acid and increasing pancreatic enzymes and get your small intestine to properly work through
Yeah,
peristalsis. Like, yes. So it's, and I kept finding more and more, like the cytomegalovirus. It was a doctor in Florida. The ER doctor had no idea what to do. And then now I know, and I'll get my viral loads checked. But then even the lab, it's hard to check because they're only checking IgG and IgM, which is a fresh infection, which is almost never good. And they don't do ELISpot technology, which is much more sensitive and better. And then they're always checking IgG, which is his past infection. So just even the testing is Walmart. And even even with the Walmart testing, Josh, they never checked me. They never checked me for small intestine bacterial growth. They never checked me for dysbiosis.
And
They
that's
never did stool analysis. They didn't do anything. And that to me is crazy.
which is why I think the functional medicine community has gotten so much, like, there's so much emphasis on this gut health. Well, all the stuff we're talking about, SIBO and Candida, the functional labs, like,
Yeah.
why would a gastroenterologist not look at, like, organic acids and food sensitivities and gut permeability and zonulin, and it's all available to us? Why
Yeah.
just poop? Let's look at the census, see what's going down there.
Exactly. But now, Josh, now we're all
You're
just
looking
waiting.
for the disease, not the problem.
Okay. Yeah. And I want to empower everyone listening to this right now, really feeling connected to this. Everything we're talking about is also the answer for longevity. So even people who are not sick need to do this. And this is how you're going to become self-empowered. This is why I believe the worst thing that ever happened to you is going to become the best. Because when you fix it, you're going to outlive and be healthier than everyone else because you're going to be conditioned and real to be self-empowered and really be proactive in your health. We live in a reactive system. Now, these doctors, they're brilliant. The system's the problem. The insurance pays for 5 or 10 minutes. I've actually worked with MDs who've come to me and paid me to work with their kids because they know the system can't help their kids with IBD. And I talk to them about it and they say, look, I see 120 patients a week. I got 5 to 10 minutes. I don't have time to go over that and to even act on the lab
You're
work.
the best they can.
They
and
do.
That's
That's it. Don't be mad. They're doing the best they can with what. And guess what? You got to remember that the system holds them ransom. They paid $300,000 for their license. And if they go out of bounds, they'll get stripped of their license and they no longer can make money and they're in debt. There's a lot of fear there with doctors and what they can say and what they can't say. They are employees of a system and that system has the teeth in them. These are brilliant, good people. And that puts my soul to rest. I don't want to be angry. Don't carry resentment. If you are resentful of your doctor, forgive, forget, move on, and realize what they can and cannot do. These are some of our most brilliant people in our society, and I love them. And so I don't want to say bad things on them. I want to work with them. I don't want to work against them.
That's exactly the philosophy I've carried too. Is like there's synergy here. Like, yes, there's sick care, but move beyond that. Like there's things we can do to empower ourselves. There's free or low cost things on everything we can do. Like you said, just try cooking your food for 30 days. Eat from the farm, not the factory, for 30 days.
And you do it in a stainless steel pot or bake it or pressure cook it, Instapot
Yeah,
it.
no. Yeah, like
Like, just
do it
it's
whole, not just whole foods. Like don't cook spam on your like, not what it's not what we're talking about. It's like, and eat what you like, but eat responsibly, not the stuff. And it's like it goes so long. It's like, yeah, I always do this too. Like try it for 30 days and then come back to me and see what happens.
yeah. Yep. And that's exactly what we have to understand is remember, see how we're trying to say the same thing to make it simple? When you repeat, it helps to simplify it. Just eat like your great grandfather. Try it for 30 days because there's no such thing as a package with Doritos in it. There's no such thing. He had local, real food. And also another thing about money, people go, well, I can't afford it. Do you understand that the average American only spends 11% of their income on food? What do you think the percentage of the income your great grandfather spent on his food? His time, energy, and money to feed his family. From what I've heard, over 50%.
Yeah, but you think about where we are today too, right? It's not an
Yeah.
excuse. Like what was important back then, right? Shelter,
food.
clothes on my back,
Yeah.
repeat. Like, and I was happy in nature. The most happiest, healthiest people I met are in the most destitute places in Peru and like Costa Rica. Like they're happy, they're smiling, they're kicking a ball with chickens, and all they're doing is eating what's coming out of the ground today.
Yeah. That's
And
beautiful.
yes, I know we're not in that world, but it is that simple. When we talk about lifestyle and nutrition, if we move back from simple instead of convenience, we're over convenienced and we're over informed. Like there's too much information, and if we go to simple, because that's what we're talking about, instead of going,
Yeah.
what's the peptide, what's the stack, what's this thing, what's this protocol for me? Yeah, we can do that. We don't hold that container. What you said is get that foundation, right? What is this
Yeah.
foundation? What is your routine in the morning? Like, do you step on the ground in your bare feet before you hit your phone?
Yeah.
Right? These little things do matter, and people are hesitant because simple is effective, but it's also elusive. Because
It
what
is
we're talking about,
yeah.
no one will really like say, man, he had it wrong. There's no way that eating food that's whole for you is good. Like, of course it is. Like, we all know it, but we're not going to do it because you need a coach. There's things that we can do. Like you said, it's like, I don't heal anybody. You heal you. I'm just there for the ride. Like I'm here to guide you to help your
Yeah.
body go the way it's supposed to. There's 38 trillion cells in your body. We have no idea what they're doing. I love that you're bringing the spiritual aspect into it from a real perspective.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
know
the
how
only
all these cells in my body do what they do, but I know when I give it the right signals, they do. And that's what
Yes.
I want to do.
See, these are all epiphanies that allow you in the journey. Because everyone listening, you're not going to get better tomorrow. You're not going to get better in a week. But if you keep going and taking action, you will get better. It's a journey. My journey was longer than most, which is what gives me the courage to be here. Because I rarely meet someone who got more sick with the IBD experience only. That is many of the diseases that are worse than mine. And so I that journey took a lot of years for me. And so, but I got balanced and simple in the journey. So that's what we're trying to do right now. We're trying to set you up to be ready to take that journey and be happy there and make memories there and feel like you're in your life and you're not waiting to be in your life. Because when I was sick, I was waiting to be back in my life and it made me so angry. I got so impatient. And then but once you get there and you start looking at that, like I had found virus, then I did find blastocystis hominis parasite. And then I found H. pylori. Remember the doctor told me I had gastritis because I had ulcers in my stomach. And you know how hard it is to test positive for H. pylori through a stool analysis? Because a stool analysis predominantly finds bacteria infection, because H. pylori is a bacteria, from the colon, because it has to travel
Yeah,
through
it's all
26,
it's all in
27
the
feet of the GI
it's
tract.
all upper, yeah.
See,
Which
it's
is
not,
why they never talk about SIBO. Like your small intestine is supposed to be sterile. You don't want the
Yeah.
guts there. You want it there.
Yeah.
And I just want to make sure because you and I are very keen on this, but I want people to understand the importance of yes, longevity, like 70, 80% of your immune system, all the neurotransmitters, like
Yeah.
all down there. There's more
Yep.
critters than you.
Yep.
So we want to make sure that they're happy and that they're in the right fashion because we don't want the bullies in the sandbox beating each other up. So we want the right amount, the right things and moving. You can change your microbiome in 24 hours with the food you eat.
Yeah. And that's all part of this creation. Like we're not it's like when you do these things for your body, there's this greater power beyond you. Kind of like the idea of trying to heal a wound. Like if you cut your arm, you're not going to take a supplement. It's going to heal itself. That's the body. You got to get out of the body's way. And the microbiome can start fixing itself when you stop destroying it. And, a lot of the chemicals we keep talking about, all the microplastics and the glyphosate and the pesticides and the VOCs and the PCBs and all this is destroying it. The emulsifiers and in the peanut butter and in the ice cream, destroying it. All these conveniences we've made that our great grandfathers didn't have are killing us. Did you guys see the trend here? Go to a store where there's a convenience, and I will show you a convenience tax on your health.
Well, and then when I talk to a lot of my entrepreneur friends and people like this, is like we all have choice, and it's like, it's elusive because they go, oh, but it tastes so good.
That's called addiction. That's called
Right.
addiction.
Well,
Yes.
sugar's more addictive than cocaine to our
Well,
brains.
Yeah,
So
exactly. I mean, yeah, it's made to sell. I mean, look, it's made to sell. You got to learn, what you feel. Look, no one did anything. What we're talking about is greatness. It's great to heal yourself. It's hard. It takes a greatness. No one did anything great feeling like they should do that the whole time. Like a Muhammad Ali didn't get before a big boxing match and feel perfectly good. He felt scared. He felt worried. He thought about what happens if he loses. He realized there was 100,000 people who were about to watch him. What happens if his bad hip goes out? But mentally, or what he said and what he showed was pure confidence. You can't let your feelings dictate your reality. You are not your feelings. You are your actions. I feel like I want sugar. Doesn't matter what I feel. I'm going to act this way. And you keep doing that, you're going to have control over your feelings. Okay. Metacognition, to be aware of one's feelings, but not be able to act on them. Just because you feel angry doesn't make you an angry person. But if you feel angry and keep slapping everybody every time you feel angry, you are an angry person because you can't control that. So our feelings, everyone feels all this stuff. Your feelings are not unique. That was really big for me. I'm having cravings. Yeah, everyone does. So what's the difference between success and failure? Allowing your feelings to dictate your actions. Now, the way you have to do that is you got to dance with that, with giving yourself, you have to substitute what you want with another good feeling. So when I wanted sugars, I went for a walk in the sunshine with Bob Marley in my ear. So I had to get dopamine somewhere else. That's the dance. You got to realize we're not robots. So the feelings are there, but we need to be able to move on those feelings. Now, this is going to allow you to be able to stay in the pocket for 4 months, 2 years, 3 years in your healing journey, however long you need to go, and build a life where you stay there. Because the way Josh continues to stay healthy now and I stay healthy is we live what we built. You're not going to exit this, guys. You're not going to exit this. You exit this, you're going to start getting sick again.
the way my mentor has told me, a good friend of mine now, is he says you have to be the product of your product, right?
Yeah.
And and he, like you said it earlier too, like doctors don't go to school. Like you said, read the book, you do the thing. It's like, but when you're in your own wellness healing journey, it's a do you first principle. You don't like. I'm not here reading books only on healing and wellness and then applying them to you. Like I'm in my own journey. I'm in my own wound is healer's journey just as much as everybody else. And when you understand that the journey never ends and you're okay with it, then it becomes powerful.
And so is that not true with success in any other thing in life? Name one thing you want, a career, a marriage. You don't, like in fitness, you don't arrive at having strong
You
legs.
just get better every day.
You get there and then you have to maintain. And then you can celebrate, you can move, and that will keep you in balance. It's not like you'll never have a drink again or do all these things. You can do that as you build and as you grow. And what I've found, what's really cool and set me free, Josh, is the better I've gotten, the less I've even needed or wanted. That's the really word, wanted these things in my life. I don't want alcohol. I was so angry that I wouldn't be able to drink it when I was first diagnosed. I don't want alcohol. I don't want gluten. It's not that I can't have gluten. I have no desire. I
Yeah.
don't want to poison my body.
Well,
I
that's a
don't want to go
great
to the
place
club till
to
2 in the morning. I don't want it. There's a difference. I'm free.
Well, that the freedom, like that piece is so important because I think a lot of people might think like, oh, like you also can't, we have to give ourselves grace. We're all human, right? You're not going to be perfect. Like there is something to be said about the Pareto principle and 80/20. And like, but if you're really sick, you got to dial that thing up.
Yeah, you do.
You got to dial it up. Like we're not talking about being intensive forever. Like you said,
Yep.
my wellness routine is very simple now
Yep.
because I've gotten to a place, and I also know through my own experience and other people's, like, no matter how sick you are, no matter how bad you think it is, every human on the planet, that divine in you, every single person on this planet has the right and ability to heal. Not everyone does because of the attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors that we're talking about,
Yep.
but you can pretty much turn around anything in 3 years or less. You know why? Because you build a new body every 7 years with every single cell in your body. So if you give it the right things, you could be a new person. So we can rebuild.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, you're right. We can rebuild. And I'm going to give some takeaways right now that people can use. What can you start to rebuild? Where do I start, Dane? Okay, try this. Start focusing on what you're not going to do before you focus on what you are going to do.
I love this.
Because if you really look at it, it's really about not trying to metaphorically dunk the basketball. It's about staying away from the poison. If you can get balanced by saying, I'm not going to be snacking all the time. Try this. Try to eat 3 times a day and don't snack. And that's general, right? That's a basis. You can flare that up with I'm carnivore, I'm 2 a day, I'm intermittent fasting, I'm not intermittent fasting, I'm going to do liquid diet, whatever. But start there. Stop snacking. 2, hot water. Stop drinking cold water. Stop drinking water out of plastic. Hot water is much more bioavailable and it's a great carrier of other fruit, very cheap, easy herbs. When I go to the restaurant, I only get hot water with lemon. And if they put the lemon in the bottle, the water, I ask for a new one because that lemon's full of crap on it. And I only want a little bit of the squeeze of the lemon. Or, if that's why I want to eventually build my own restaurant because all the restaurants are crap, in my opinion, most of them. But it's hot water with lemon. Get rid of plastic, drinking out of plastic, get rid of cold water. It's not helping you. It's going to flush you. It's going to absorb better. Stop snacking. Get rid of alcohol. Get rid of drugs. Stay sober. Find happiness sober. You can put your hands in the air. You can smile. You can laugh. Now, I know some people need to use, and that's fine. I smoked marijuana every day for a long time when I was chronically sick. It helped with the pain. It helped me deal with those days. It helped me deal with depression. I get it. And so I'm saying that generally speaking. But as you keep going, I kept looking at it and saying, do I still need it? And how is it helping me get to the next level? Especially when chronic inflammation is your core problem. Another, like we said, only eat what you cook. See how that works. Just try it for even 2 weeks. I bet your intuition goes way up. Because if you don't know what to eat, you need to start by seeing intuitively how your body reacts and journal on that. Okay. Next, start working on fixing the biomechanics. That's not a conspiracy theory. So you can relate and connect with people. Start with the simple stuff. How do you enhance digestion? How do you start balancing the microbiome? Everyone agrees there's a microbiome. Everyone agrees it's important, both conventional and natural. So what do we all agree on that's not going to make everyone think you're crazy? Start there, right? And so microbiome, the gut lining. How do you support the gut lining? How do you support the digestion? How do you support energy levels and adrenals? One of the biggest things I see a lot of people continue to miss is they're chronically sick, they're chronically stressed, and they've been malnourished for a year and a half, and they've been very sick. You know what that does to your adrenals? They're kaput. Your adrenals help to create cortisol, which regulates inflammation. It's your stress hormone. So do you need some cortisol, not too much, not too little. You need some cortisol to help protect. That's why a lot of times we get symptoms at night, but we're not asymptomatic at noon. You ever got the flu? It gets way worse at night, but it's better at 1 p.m. Cortisol levels are dropping. Your immune system is not as strong. Okay. So make sure you're supporting your adrenals. Next, I like how Brian Johnson says it, honestly, become a professional sleeper. Go to bed. When I decided I was going to heal and not just being angry that someone else couldn't heal me, let that sink in. I told everyone in my vicinity, this is my bedtime. Ain't nothing getting in my way. I went to bed at 9 p.m. I had to deal with, I feel boring. I feel like an old man. I feel like I'm missing out. I went through all that. But then all of a sudden I was waking up at 6 in the morning, outside with my book and my highlighter, reading on possibilities with the sun on my face and quiet, and I'm feeling better. You heal when you sleep. Okay. Then look at the same thing with healing. You're in a fasted state and your body is able to use that energy to fix its cells, clear out senescent cells, clean up damaged cells, get the liver clean, tox it out, get ready for that morning bowel movement to dump all that stuff through your urine and your bowel movement. So give yourself sleep. That's your body's power to heal. And if you can't sleep through the night, you need to work protocol to make sure you sleep through the night. Don't drink so much water right at night. Try to eat 3-4 hours before you go to bed. Okay. And if you lose a few pounds doing this, that's okay. If your energy and brain fog is getting better and you're losing a pound or two, you're probably losing inflammatory weight. And it's probably due to a slow lymphatic system that causes you to swell and retain water. So that's where you can always go. And when you get lost, I want you to meditate, because I heard a wise man once say that scholars find the answer from without, books, college degrees. But a wise man, or even in the Eastern world, a yogi, finds the answer from within. When I was stuck in that house, I had so many epiphanies by breathing on my feelings and meditating on those feelings. And then I have epiphanies on how to make it better. You do meditation in an Epsom salt bath and read 20 minutes of or 10 pages in a book, and put on that meditation music, go out earthing with your actual feet in the ground and move the blood flow, get natural infrared light through the sun, and watch how that dopamine inspires you on your next move. Your next move is already inside of you, but you were too traumatized, we're too sick, we're too angry to even see it and feel it. So we got to get in balance for today, open up that consciousness to see that next move. And it's not going to be the move. It's going to be a great move. And you need about 200 of them stacked on top of each other in the right way. And you're going to pivot. You're going to mess up. It's not going to work as well. That's why you need your journal. That journal is your bank account of health, right? If you're a person who likes money and you want to get financially free and I want to pay off my house and all this type of stuff, are always looking in there and doing your checkbooks and your P&L and all that stuff. Do that with your health. Build your P&L and your health. You need to be checking it. What you don't focus on, you don't grow.
Where you focus is where you put your energy, and what you track and measure improves dramatically.
Yeah.
Right. Just in your business, you track and measure all your KPIs and you don't in your life. And you're right.
It's crazy.
Well, what's also good is just getting it out of here and on paper releases some of that energy too. Like if there's a transfer out, like just journaling is like 5 minutes. That's it. These are not things that are going to, sleep. I already tell everyone, like, what's the stack for supplement? Like, what do I do for longevity? I go sleep. It's the number 1, number 2, number 3 protocol stack supplement that I recommend for longevity, because you can put 3.5 years of vibrant life on your life if you do that one thing well consistently.
Yeah.
Right? No one's ever going to sleep well every night. It's consistency. Consistency carves canyons.
Mm-hmm.
So I love like those simple, but maybe not easy, but simple things to do. They are easy if we let them. Right? I go to bed really early, sometimes before my 9 and 11-year-old daughters, because I know how good it is for me. But it's not, I know, it's like there's a knowing. That knowing is the magic. It is the medicine.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for enlightening. Where do you have your community? I want to talk a little bit about that, right? We're almost at the end of our close here, but what how do people find you in your community?
Yeah. So it's CrohnsColitisLifestyle.com. We focus on people with inflammatory bowel disease. We have some people with IBS. It's really about integrity. If you feel like there's an honest, integral need and value with us, we're always open to that. But it has to be transparent. It has to be good. Those are our big words: trust and integrity. So Crohn's Colitis Lifestyle on Instagram and YouTube. And what we do to help support that integrity and trust is we hold a free 1-hour IBD strategy session. Deep dive in your case, what you've been through, what your experience is, and see if there's a potential connection if we can help you. And so we always want to start on that right foot. So we hold that space and offer that complimentary for anyone. I can actually send Josh, if you people want to check it out, they can just find us or put it in the show notes. So we know you came
we'll
from
definitely
Josh.
put it in the show notes and the links. We
And
want to be sure. That's my
yeah.
goal. A lot of this is if you're suffering from these things and you've gone through that story, or you're in that story, or you're in some space here, like take action. Like you're gifting that to people. There's
Yeah.
no, it's a gift. It's something. This is where
Yeah.
probably the most singular action that I've ever done and continue to do when for my own healing journey in my own life, in my own growth is saying yes at the right time when it resonates,
Yeah.
when you feel it. Like if you're feeling something today, like out of this conversation, take that action step because there's
Yeah.
plenty of people that'll go, they'll listen to it and then they'll just go on into their whirlwind day. But like when you take action, when it aligns,
Yeah.
universe always, always is in your favor. Now it's always in your favor, but it doesn't matter. Have, it doesn't have an opinion. If you choose the wrong thing, it's going to support you in that space, not because it's good, but it's going to lead you down the wrong direction because you've chosen that path. It doesn't care what path you choose, but we all know the dark cloud that follows you or the path that is more light. And so the free gift is beautiful. Thank you. Because that's what I ask. And as we build this community, um, is what can we offer our community so they can move beyond and do something about that? Because this empowerment that you've created through your own story is the medicine.
Yeah. And if I could, I like to talk. I like to do things based on what I needed and what I would do. So I always try to put myself in other shoes and say, would I do that? Would I make that investment of time, energy, or money, or what did I need back then? Hindsight 2020. And I just want to mention a few on what we're talking about here. Is number one is I needed someone to let me know that no matter what you do, you have to become the answer yourself. I am not the CEO of your health. You are. I am your coach. Like a boxing coach is not going to win the fight.
Yeah.
You've got to get up and decide. And what you need in that hindsight 2020, the things you need out of who you work with is this. You need trust. You need integrity first and foremost, because healing is not linear. If you go left or right, your team needs to come together and feel like you got each other's back and you're really working for each other and trying. But you have to be accountable to that. You can't just throw it on someone, write a check and throw it on someone and say, you are in charge of making me healthy or you're the reason I'm sick. You can't do that. And then number three is you need a place that actually specializes, hyper specialization in what you're going through. When I was sick, I had these great naturopath doctors around me, but none of them specialized, could show me testimonies reversing it or had it themselves. So when I started building CCL, I said, I'm just going to build what I needed because there were so many holes in what I needed. I need someone who actually had IBD, specialized in IBD, and could treat IBD and could show me testimonies. We have more testimonies than anyone on the planet. I post a testimony every single week, real people, not actors, who've been through a minimum of 4 months, usually average 7, 8, 9 months of work, who are going on and volunteering saying, Dane, I want to record a testimony with you to share how I got rid of all my symptoms with IBD. I post one every week. We see about 200 to 250 IBD clients at any given time. I've worked with thousands. Africa, India, all over, mostly Canada, UK, and US is most prominent. But so the thing is like, if it's not me, go find the specialist. So who actually hyper resonates with you? Do they have IBD? And maybe it's female, maybe it's Crohn's or Crohn's colitis or constipation. Find people that you trust and integrity. They can actually show you testimonies. There's a hyper focus in there. And also make sure two things with a community. Make sure that the program can be customized to you. There's a lot of McDonald's drive-through stuff out there where it's just like, here's the generic plan. I knew a girl, she paid $5,000 to this really kind of famous person who just gave me the most generic thing in the world. And she came to me and goes, I don't know what to do with this piece of paper. It's like I paid $5,000 for this piece of paper that said, eat this for 4 weeks and take these 4 supplements, not customized to her, and come back to me in a month. And it's like, that's not going to work. I had a few doctors do that to me too.
Well, we're in the age of personalization. We cannot
you need touch points. You need touch points.
I work on genomics a lot in the functional well because what better way can we personalize it through story, your own experience?
Yep.
And I love that because it's not that you have the empathy for people going through the same thing because you literally visually felt it. You've gone through it. Like,
yes,
for some, this is why I can't make it up, but like cancer patients find me. I have a resonance because I can understand what they're going through. And now it's this well care side that they've forgotten, because in all these spaces, they just want to keep you less sick or less dead. And then you come out on the other side and you don't even have a place to go.
Josh, you've been on the boat.
Yeah.
You can look someone dead in the eye and go, I know what you're going through. And you can say things to them that you have a right to say because you've been there, that no one else can say. You can ask them to be accountable. They need you. They need that coach. They need that tough love sometimes. They need someone to lead them to show, look what Josh did in his life. This isn't the end, that there's a future, that there's hope. You know what that does to someone's soul who's been just told they have this disease, there's nothing they can do, and the trauma they went through, and then they come and they meet you and look at this guy. He was probably told he'd never be here. Look, he got kids. He's happy. He's fun. He's laughing. Man, you know how valuable that is for someone? It's someone in despair.
People's story is how they listen, how they learn, but also that hope piece, right? You said,
Yeah.
I love it. Like the coach piece in me always goes like, someone just gives me their, like, I mean, I've studied with shamans and shaman and energy. I love it. It's my favorite place, but shamans don't give a shit about the story.
No.
They just want to help. And so it's not that they don't care, but the story isn't the problem. It's like, how do we get you there? So when people start telling me about like this and this, and I can't, it's like, I go, you know what? Now what?
Yeah.
Like we get through it. Like your conversation was very direct in the beginning. It's like, let's go. Like the best coaches I've ever had.
Yeah.
Get to the point super quick, not because they're not empathetic, because I am going to listen. That's why when you, me, whoever, like we work with people, I listen with $1 million listening, because guess what? When you're heard, you feel safe. When you feel safe, your nervous system is checked down. When you have hope, when I dispense drugs, like as a pharmacist for years and years and years, I would put the best intention in every single one. And I didn't know it at the time, but that's what heals people.
Mm-hmm.
Like the placebo effect is real.
Yeah.
Like let's nurture why we can heal ourselves better. So
really, that's the boat. You know, you're on the boat. You're the captain. It's like, you know, most of the time I was just looking at people in an ivory tower like, well, we read this in a book and you should just do this. And it was just like, listen.
Or I've gotten all these credentials, so I have the power to tell you what you're feeling through what you're going through. There's nothing wrong with these people that are brilliant, but true healing doesn't happen in a bottle. It happens with participation.
And the last thing I think I would look for, and the last thing I'd look for when you're looking for that place in that home is look where you can transparently talk to the community. I've been in programs before where I couldn't actually talk to anyone else who was going through the program. So what I said is like, I need to create a safe, policed environment where I'm not going to, get nutso people yelling at each other. Cause I saw that on Facebook sometimes, like people yelling and screaming on Facebook groups who are in these chronic disease groups. And so we created an environment where in our community, once you join, you have access to 2,000 other people with IBD around the world, and everyone talks constructive and positive and cheers each other on, and they share what they're doing. So you don't just have a coach, you don't just have training, you don't just have a program, but you're literally saying, hey, Megan, you're also pregnant with IBD. What are you taking? What are you doing? Hey, you got 3 surgeries and you also had to have you had a fistula. What worked? What are you doing? Did the DMSO, dimethyl sulfoxide, work for you? Oh, what about hyperbaric oxygen? Did it actually get rid of the fistula? Did you actually get the HBOT to be covered by insurance? How'd you do that?
We learned from our peers.
Real programs let you talk to other members. If they don't let you talk to the members, it's because the reviews are probably not great at all.
Well, that is the power of community. The community isn't the numbers. It's you. The Cleveland Clinic said it very, very clearly. Like we learn from our peers through group way more than we learn from someone telling us what to do. Now, you said it right. The coach doesn't play the game, period. And the best of the best have had a coach. So get a good coach, get a good community for whatever your issue is. But for IBD, look, it's right here, right now. No, nothing on the outside is going to fix you. It's the work we do ourselves. So thank you for enlightening it in your way and your story. This was fun. We'll do it some more.
Thank you, Josh. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Because the world needs more healing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, and everyone who's still listening. Thank you for being here. And I hope we pour so much into this. I hope it changes lives, and God bless you, Josh. And healing is possible. It's hard, but you can do it. Thanks for having me.
Beautiful. What a great episode. All right, guys. That's a wrap. Until next time, stay well.
Thanks for joining me today on Beyond the Pills. If our mission to de-prescribe 10 million unnecessary medications resonates with you, share this episode, subscribe, and leave a review. Whether you're a practitioner or someone ready to reclaim your health, visit rx2wellness.com for free resources to begin your journey. Together, let's go beyond the pills and co-create a world of vibrant health and true healing. Until next time, live better and stay well.